viewers, Morgana Galaxia here. Thank you so much for visiting my channel again. I really appreciate your views. Let's get down to some tarot reading, huh? Today I want to look at 3 questions. I want to get some insight into the Abraham Accords that were on TV, what was that, yesterday, day before, between Israel, the United Arab Emirates, and the Kingdom of Bahrain. On the surface, it looks like anything that will bring Israel and Arab countries together would be a good thing, but I was really uneasy, so I want to take a look at that. The second thing I'm going to look at today is see if we can get some insight into these hysterectomies that have been performed on immigrant detainees. Boy, this harkens back to Nazi Germany, doesn't it? It's just creepy. I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. I want some insight there. And then lastly, I want to take a look at Michael Caputo. Is he mad or is he devious? So that's what I'm going to be reading on today, viewers. Let's get started. So the first thing is the Abraham Accords. So, like I just mentioned, anything that would, bring some peace between Arab countries and Israel has got to be a good thing, right? Because that's going to lay that foundation for, hopefully a 2-state solution, so the Palestinians have their land, so they won't feel attacked and will attack in response constantly. Just bring peace to that region. So on the surface, yeah, that's great. But is that Trump's first accomplishment? Yet I was very uneasy sitting there watching that. First of all was the optics. Wow, using the White House as a backdrop. Let's start there. Speaking from the balcony, which, whenever I see Trump on that balcony talking down to the masses, it just really harkens back to that whole dictator, authoritarian, Stalin, Mussolini, even the Queen, right? They all are up on the balconies. The Pope as well does that. I'm thinking Eva Peron. Just these dictators, they're always high up on their balconies, speaking down to the people, and the symbolism there is very clear. We are above you. You are below us. There can't be contact there. There has to be that distance because they're of the higher level and all the peon masses are below. I think that's a symbolism that Trump's going for here. And then in addition to that, to have foreign leaders speak from that balcony with the White House as a backdrop just was really unsettling to me. And surprisingly, allowing the United Arab Emirates foreign minister to speak Arabic from that balcony with the White House as a backdrop, I thought was very curious. I'm not anti-Muslim or anti-Islamic, but Trump is, right? And all of his minions are. So I thought that was an odd move. I'm not sure if he intended that optic there. And in addition, they're touting these accords, as a peace accords, bringing peace to the region. Well, they're not, because Israel did not have any strife or any war going on with either the United Arab Emirates or Bahrain. They had, fairly good relations already. That's why this accord was possible. Trump didn't end any war. He wasn't ending any hostilities. These accords don't end any violence, so they're not peace accords in that way. They do make the better relations between these countries official, so I guess they're officially going to recognize Israel. But really, I think part of what's a big deal here is that Bahrain and the UAE are very anti-Iranian. So I think this was Trump solidifying an anti-Iran group to really threaten Iran and make them, feel more insecure now that there's a block, right, of countries that are anti-Iranian. So I think that's really underlying what's going on with this accord. I find the name, the Abraham Accords, to be kind of strange. And then, of course, we have the proximity to the election. So he's obviously trying to show himself as a peacemaker, a statesman, someone who can move on the world stage close to election day. So that's the sort of foundation of my understanding for this reading. But I want to take a look at what Spirit has to say through the cards to see if we can get any insight into these accords. Are my perspectives spot on? Is there something I'm missing, or am I wrong? What can the cards tell us about the Abraham Accords? So that's where I'm going to get started. Abraham Accords, Spirit. If we can get some insight into these Abraham Accords. Abraham Accords, Spirit. Abraham Accords. Abraham Accords. All right. Let's take a look. What the actual fudge? Question mark, exclamation point. So what's the situation? I'm getting 3 of Swords and 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Swords, 3 of Pentacles. So 2 3s here. And of course, this is agreement between 3 nations: Israel, the United Arab Emirates, and the Kingdom of Bahrain. So what these cards are telling me as far as the situation is, there's been a lot of heartbreak between these 3 nations. They're on reasonably good terms right now. There's no ongoing hostilities or war, but this is a very difficult region of the world, right? There's a lot of mistrust and long histories of war and violence. So, they're operating in a region here that's very difficult. There's been a lot of heartbreak for each of these countries. And that heartbreak is leading to these contracts, these agreements to work together to build something new, So I think, we have to separate Trump's involvement and intent from these 3 nations' involvement and intent. And, when the United Arab Emirates, especially, I believe, was speaking, I think that was the one who was speaking in Arabic. Oh, maybe it was Bahrain. Sorry, I can't remember exactly, but one of them made a statement that they believed that U.S. intention in the Middle East was positive. I think that the intention here for these 3 countries is good. They're tired of the heartbreak, and they're looking to build something new, some new type of coalition. So what's actually true about this situation is the star, which is hope and optimism. So this is telling me, I think, that these 3 parties are hopeful and are optimistic that these accords will bring their desired effect. So ideally, peace, some respect, that recognition of Israel, and that sets the tone for the rest of their countries. And of course, their countries will set the tone for the rest of that region. I think there's a lot of hope and optimism around this. For fudge, what is wrong with the situation? What is effed up about the situation? The Four of Wands. And this is my card for the White House. So, generally this is a positive card, new homes, happy people, good moves. But being in the fudge category, I think really this is speaking to, Trump's intention here might not have been solely to help others, right? It's the optics I was talking about. For example, when the four men sat down to sign this agreement, you had the U.S. head of state, our president there, the Israeli head of state, Netanyahu, was there. But for the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, both of them sent their foreign minister. They didn't send their head of state, their king, right? It was their foreign minister, which tells me a lot about the level of these accords. They didn't have to be signed by the head of state. The signature of the foreign minister sufficed, which makes me ask, well, then why was Netanyahu and Trump there? Why weren't their foreign ministers or their equivalent thereof signing these documents? Because it was a show. And you see this White House here, I think this speaks to the concern I voiced a couple minutes ago about the optics of this. Being at the White House is a backdrop, up on that balcony, making this a huge deal. Like, if you didn't know what was going on, you'd be like, oh my God, world peace is about to start here, right? No, this was for the Trump people, for the White House, for the Trump administration. This was more about optics, the election, staying in the White House. They welcomed those people in for this show. I think any positivity that it might have would almost be, like just a side bonus as far as Trump's concerned. Question mark. Where do we need to look for more answers? We get the Seven of Cups. So this is interesting because this is where we want to look for more answers, yet this card represents illusion, delusion, the smoke screen, thrown out mirages, all these illusions. So I think this card is indicating to us that in order to see the truth of this matter, we're going to have to look through some illusory veils. We're going to have to look through some deceit or some lies or some, there's just the surface view of this isn't quite right. There's something else going on there. We need to search those out and look at those. That question mark is telling us we need more information. We need to start looking at the things that don't seem quite right. And the exclamation point, what action needs to be taken here? I'm sorry, I hesitated for a moment because I have a reversed card and I don't normally keep the cards in my deck reversed, so I'm not quite sure how this happened. But what we have is the Judgment card reversed. So the action that needs to be taken here would be to reserve our judgment. We need to reserve our judgment. We need to give this some time to reveal itself to us a little clearer. One thing I noticed when they were all speaking at the White House is they didn't really tell us what was in those accords. As I said, they weren't crafting peace because there was no ongoing hostilities between these nations that already get along together. We know that there's official recognition of Israel. I've read that, they're going to be opening up air travel between these nations. But the heart of what is in these accords, we haven't quite heard. And this is telling us to reserve our judgment on the situation. Reserve our judgment until we can figure out what some of these illusions and delusions are. So I think we have some more information to look forward to when it comes to these Abraham Accords. Not everything is revealed. Not everything is available for us to look at, right? We need to reserve our judgment. Again, I'm feeling pretty uneasy when I was watching it. Something was kind of fishy, which, and I didn't like feeling that way because I want peace in that region. I want better relations between these nations. I'd love to see that two-state solution between Israel and Palestine manifest. But this is Trump we're talking about. This is a Trump administration move. So reserve your judgment and keep your eye out. All right. So the second thing I want to look at today are those hysterectomies that this doctor is performing on the immigrant detainees, on these women, including one of them was supposedly very young. I don't know what age. But like I think I said a few minutes ago, this really reminds me of Nazi Germany and those doctors who performed hysterectomies and other experimental surgeries. They did some really nasty stuff, really disgusting. And now we have hysterectomies, unnecessary ones, being performed on immigrant detainees. So I want to take a look at that, Spirit. Can you show me what do we need to know about this situation? Hysterectomies on detainees. Hysterectomies. Non-essential surgeries on these detainees. Also, it's come out that the doctor in question is keeping track of every single pregnant detainee and is also tracking all the females' menstrual cycles. So that is unspeakably creepy, right? I can maybe see knowing, if you have any pregnant people, pregnant women that are being detained, so you can make sure that they have the health care that they need. Is that what's going on? Why are they tracking menstrual cycles? Ooh, Spirit, tell us what we need to know. All right. All right, let's take a look, huh? All right. That star is upside down. I'm not sure. Okay. What is the situation surrounding this right here? We have the star reversed and the high priestess. Star reversed and high priestess. So the star typically is your optimism, your joy, your hopes of a situation. This being reversed is indicating to me that there's a dark outlook going on here. There's a darkness. There's some hopelessness, right? There's some despair. people are losing their hope. They're losing their optimism. They're moving into a very dark place because of these secrets that are being held here, that are embedded in this situation. There's a lot of secrets. So even though now we know about these hysterectomies and this weird situation with the pregnant women, you know, these things with the women, there's some more secrets there. There's some more information there that we're going to be finding out, and it's taking its toll on the mental well-being of those involved in this situation. We've got a really dark, there's a darkness there, a hopelessness there because of these secrets. What is actual? What is true? What is actual about this situation is the Ten of Swords. So this is downfall, and this is downfall, utter downfall. Being a 10, though, that means this is the conclusion of this cycle. This cycle has reached its apex of negativity. This is as bad as it can possibly get. This is as bad as it can get, and it's the end of this cycle. So I think what this card is telling us is this was horrible. This was unspeakable. What happened here, the anxiety and fear around the situation has reached its pinnacle. But now this cycle hopefully is stopped. Now that some light has been shown on this, it's in the news, we're all learning about it, that might have finally put the kibosh on what's going on here, and ideally will lead to someone's downfall, the perpetrator. So this does speak to the level of darkness here, but there is a hope that it might be at its end now. So, you know, I hope that is indeed the case. The Fudge card, what is wrong about this situation, is the Page of Swords. This is what's wrong with this situation. So normally this would be a communication. You know, this is often the spy in the camp or a whistleblower, which in this situation would be a positive. So I think what this card is speaking to, with this being what's wrong with this situation, is that there wasn't there was a whistleblower that came out finally about this situation. I think where I'm going with this card is that the investigations, this is the sword of truth that she's holding. This could be legal news, legal documents, an investigation starting, an initial opening and taking a look at the situation. We might expect to see that being stalled, being hidden, having that not be available for us to see, or there's some feet dragging there. I think we need to keep our eye on the beginning of the investigation of this problem. We need to make these leaders follow through on the legal repercussions for this. We can't let them sweep this under the rug. We can't let them withhold the name of this doctor and let him just move on somewhere else, right? Or take him out of his position with no consequences. We need to make sure that our leaders follow through the courts. Make sure that they follow through on this tragedy. So the question mark. What do we need to look at for more information? Another page. Now we have the Page of Wands. So where we need to look for more information, we need to look for more whistleblowers. We need to look for more people in the administration with that wand who do the work, the sort of worker bees of the administration. Those people in, this would be immigration, right? So in ICE, in all those, those departments that are handling the detainees, there needs to be questioning, widespread questioning. We need information, we need documents, we need interviews, we need information. That's what this card is directing us. You're not going to get it from Trump, right? You're not going to get it from the head of ICE. This is a page. We need to go to the regular, everyday people who are in those agencies and find out. That's where they need to go to find out some more information. Like the whistleblower, she was someone who, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember that nice lady. She was in healthcare. She was a nurse. So she was the one that was blowing the whistle on that doctor. Those are the kind of people that we need to turn to. And exclamation point, what action needs to be taken is the Seven of Pentacles. This is the review card. So we need to review this whole situation. This is the you reap what you sow card. Everything that you've planted earlier grows to fruition. You need to take a look at it and see, is this what I want? Review what you've done. Do you need to make any changes? That is what needs to happen here. All those seeds were already sown, right? Between Trump and ICE, anti-immigrant, putting them to detention centers, separating families. All those seeds have grown, and now we're looking at it, this abuse that's happened as a result of the overall situation that allowed this abuse to occur. So now we all need to, yes, review this tragedy that I'm asking about today, but it goes deep. This is telling us look deeper, look at the seeds, look at what you planted, what policies were put in place that allowed this to grow. That is where you need to start making changes. How are the families treated? How are they housed? How are the doctors and nurses that attend to these people selected? What kind of vetting process was there? Were there any, mental health reviews? How much money is spent there? All those decisions that were made that grew this situation, those need to be looked at. How can we do it better? How do we plant better next time so that we grow something more fruitful? That is the action that we need to take. Review, 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 but not just looking at this tragedy. Again, reviewing the policies and procedures that were put in place to allow this to have happened in the first place. And that, I dare say, will take another administration to do, and not our current administration. Okay, whew. That is ugliness right there, people. We are seeing, my God, when we all found out they were separating children from parents, that was mind-numbing to try and wrap your head around the fact that the United States would do something like that. And this new situation, mutilating women, it's what it is. Mutilating women. It goes hand in hand, right? It's an ugly, ugly situation. That's that upside down star. Ugliness. All right, finally, I want to look at Michael Caputo. So I'm going to assume by now you've probably either heard or read his tweets or maybe seen a snippet of the video that is going around about all the things he's saying that seem crazy. In case you haven't seen it, just a little quick summary. Basically, he is the head of Health and Human Services. Let's try and keep that in mind. Health and Human Services, who's basically saying that there are people within the CDC who are creating a little cabal against Trump. Okay, so that's sedition, right? He's accusing people within the CDC of sedition, of being against the president, organizing against the president. He is saying that after the elections, if Biden wins, because of course, you know, the election is going to be fraudulent, if Biden refuses to step down, that the shooting is going to begin, right? That the shooting is going to begin. So if you're someone who owns guns, you need to go and buy some ammunition right now so you can be prepared for basically a civil war, is essentially what he's saying. You know, I'm summarizing it. If you listen to him say it, it sounds a lot crazier. He says a lot more than that. It's just a summary. Crazy town. I mean, to the point where I'm wondering, is this guy devious? Is he fomenting this sort of violence and mistrust of the government? Is just another one of Trump's minions, because that's what they do? Or is this guy crazy? There would definitely be some delusion, some paranoia, prone to violence, trying to stoke violence. Is this guy crazy? If, you know, mentally unstable. So that's what I want to look at. Is this guy devious or mad? Devious or mad? Spirit, can you show me this guy's devious? Or is he mad? Is he doing this work at the behest of Trump to foment Trump's desire for violent civil war, you know, fraudulent election? Or is this guy crazy? Because I feel like Trump's crazy and, you know, birds of a feather flock together. So can you show us? Can you show us? All right, let's take a look. What? Fudge. Question mark. Exclamation point. All right, viewers. So we have Three of Swords in reverse with the Queen of Cups. So this is what the situation is right here. Upside down Three of Swords. So generally, you know, this is a card of heartbreak. Being upside down. What I'm feeling right now is wanting to cause heartbreak, wanting to foment heartbreak, wanting to spread this emotion to others. This is the intent, is this heartbreak, devastation, hopelessness. And with the Queen of Cups, you know, this is a very emotional person, someone, you know, not just an emotional person, but someone who is prone to being over-emotional, someone who can have some trouble maintaining their emotions. And with this cup that the Queen is holding, this is someone who's holding on to a secret. All right, think I know where I want to go here, but let's keep moving. So this is a situation right here. Someone highly emotional, trouble holding on to their emotions, you know, just getting that sense of a chaoticness to them with this malintent of creating despair. Yeah. So the actual card, what is real about this situation? We have the Eight of Wands. So what's real about the situation is that we can expect a lot quickly. We can expect a lot very quickly. So what is this guy saying again? I mean, he's, you know, the most concerning part of it, of course, is the ammunition, the guns. Arm yourselves, right? Oh, you know, I hate to say, but I think we need to expect that people are going to take him up on this. People are going to go out there and arm themselves pretty quickly. I think that there are people who are going to listen to him and do this. We're going to find out. There's going to be a lot of wands coming our way. There's going to be a lot being leveled out there. Yes, I think these are the repercussions of what he's out there telling people, right? These are Trumpsters listening to this guy. These are the minions listening to this guy. And yeah, they're out there going, yeah, let's go get that ammo before it runs out. There's gonna, you know, Biden's not gonna concede, and it's gonna be on, right? Whew, he's creating something. What's wrong with this situation? What's the fudge behind this situation? Is the Eight of Cups. Another 8. Another 8. 8 of Cups. Sorry, I just wanted to look at that. So this is what's wrong with this situation. This guy is walking away. Somebody's walking away. They've got everything that they wanted to do lined up. So it's not loss. This guy put everything in order that he wanted to put in order. He said what he wanted to say. He riled up what he wanted to rile up. He got his followers, you know, he throughout the message, very emotional, right? Very emotional message to his viewers. Message was done. You know, he said what he said, he did what he did, and now he's going to want to turn around and walk away from that, like, with no repercussions, with no answer, with no taking anything back. He's like, okay, I did what I wanted to do. I'm outie. That's what this card is telling us is wrong with this situation. So we need to make sure that this guy doesn't cut and run. He can't just cut and run. He can't throw down what he threw down and then just up and walk off like that. That can't happen. We got to make sure, because that would be what's wrong with this situation. The question mark, where should we look for more answers? And the Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles. So this is a lot of work being done. A lot of skilled work, repetitive work. I'm hearing a lot for sale, a lot for sale, a lot for sale. Where do we need to go for more answers? Who is crafting the work here? Who is the worker? So he's Health and Human Services. There's somebody who's a skilled person at their craft who's doing the work, that is where we need to go to ask questions. So that's not Caputo. Those are going to be, let's just say, the staff of HHS, right? Those everyday people who are staffing that department, who are doing the good work, those skilled people, the people in the trenches. That's where we need to go for more information. We need to interview, the workers, the guards, the workers, the medical people, the nurses, everybody who's there doing this work, they have answers. So the exclamation point, what action needs to be taken here? And with the high priestess, the high priestess is a secret keeper. She knows all the secrets. She knows the dark secrets. She knows the light secrets. What needs to be done here, I would just say, would be to reveal the secrets, right? To uncover this, to shine light on it, to bring it out into everyone's consciousness, to make it consciously known. That's what needs to be done. We need to make sure that these secrets are not kept. We need to hold this guy responsible. We need to go in there, start interviewing, getting questions answered. We need to reveal those secrets. And to answer my question, is this guy devious or is he mad? If she were upside down, that would definitely point to madness. She's not, but the intent is upside down. So as much as I want to call this guy crazy, I'm going to call him devious. To me, this is devious. He's right side up, and he's got a secret. The intention is to harm. So with that in mind, I'm going to call this guy devious. He's a minion doing Trump's, serving the Trump master. He's fomenting hatred among Americans, mistrust, trying to get people to arm themselves, trying to get them to believe if Biden wins office, that really is him not conceding defeat, right? That's an illusion. That's a lie. That's a lie that he's trying to get people to believe. And he's going to hope, his best hope is that he can plant these bombs, right? These lies, and walk away unscathed. We can't let that happen. All right, everybody. That's going to be enough darkness for me for one day. Thank you for being here. I, again, really appreciate you visiting my channel. I appreciate every single one of your views. And I encourage you to subscribe if you like, or leave me a comment. I'm happy to talk to you guys. And other than that, stay safe out there. And you guys have a wonderful day. All right, take care.